All right, well, I got you up here. You went to go see Sinners.
I did.
So,
Okay, so the way that I look at movies, right, and before I have these kinds of conversations, number one, I usually see a movie twice
okay,
before I say something about it.
okay.
If it's okay, before I get into that, would you say that this is a serious movie, like a movie that they wanted you to take it seriously?
I'm going to say yes. Because
Okay.
they got elements of slavery, Jim Crow, Deep South, cotton picking, racial undertones. I don't see many black filmmakers making light of that. When they put they put those themes in, my take is it's meant to be serious. But that's how.
Right, and then and then they got the symbolism
Yes.
and all. It wasn't like Django, right? Where
Right,
it's just
right,
a
right,
fun
right,
movie,
right.
something like that.
Right,
So
right.
when it comes to those kinds of movies, when I watch it the first time, I watch it with a blank slate.
Okay.
Just I buy into the world. I don't try to make sense of it. I just view it as it is. How did I feel at the end of the movie?
Yes.
And after watching the movie the first time, which was like 2 weeks ago, I felt great about it. I mean, if I can get into the good parts of the movie before I shit on it, the cinematography is amazing. I got one of them new Samsung 4K Neo joints with a sound bar.
Okay.
Nigga, the cinematography and the colors and I felt like I was, you know how them TVs are. I felt like I was there. The way that it was great.
Okay.
Great cinematography.
Okay.
Great performances. Great characters. I guess my only knock on the character part is that you couldn't find actual like niggas from Mississippi. Like you were able to find Asians, you were able to find Irish folks. You probably went all out to go find them, but you couldn't find like Mississippi niggas, let alone American. You have these West Indies like Delroy in there. It's like why don't you go a little bit extra like you did for them? But that's being petty.
Okay.
That's a petty knock. Okay. So I do like the symbolism in the movie. The symbolism that he intended for you to see with, like, for example, like the vultures, right?
Yes.
The vampire runs to the house. There's no vultures.
Yeah.
And then when the Native Americans pull up, there's vultures that symbolizes death, like things like that.
Right.
I like those kinds of things. What else did I like about the movie? I like certain callbacks. For example, like we can do full spoilers here, right?
Yes,
I'm sure people.
That's what I do. Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so when they first bought the place, because when I first saw the movie, right, I was like, I didn't understand the third part, like when he came out like Rambo, just dumping on everybody.
Yeah.
Like, how would he know to do that? And then upon second watch, I remember the beginning of the scene when he first bought the juke joint. And he's got his hands on the floor. He's like, why is this floor clean?
Right.
He had to clean it. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of a little callback to that. You might, but little things like that, right? So my biggest problem with the movie is the story, is the writing.
Okay.
It's the, like, I like a fun movie, but if a movie is going to be taken serious, okay. The problem, the reason why I look at this movie this way is because they're putting it up as the best movie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing comes close.
Right.
And to me, that's like, okay, LeBron James is a phenomenal player. He's a standalone as is by himself. He's great.
Yes.
But when you start putting him next to Jordan and saying he's on the level of Jordan, now we gotta look at you a little. We gotta scrutinize a little bit if that's the claim, and that's what I'm comparing it to. So the storyline is, first off, what's the theme of the movie?
That's a good question. It depends on who you ask.
So So the way I determine the theme of a movie is by what is said in the opening, because usually the opening gives you a clue in for what the whole movie is about.
Okay.
So when they had the whole beginning of the drawings and the monologue, and he's talking about, and the lady is talking about how music can be used to summon spirits, right? At no point in the movie did music summon any spirit at all. Period. The Irish vampire dude, give me his name. I'm sorry, bro.
Remick.
Remick.
Yeah.
He was already around. Music had nothing to do with him, with his initial presence. It had nothing to do, from what I've seen.
Okay.
It would have been different. Like, okay, when they are driving, right, and he starts playing for the first time, and Stacks look at him like, woo! If they would have shown at that point, like a vampire coming out in the distance, maybe nobody knows about it. Maybe the town doesn't know about it, but that's when you start seeing the vampire. That would have made more sense.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? I just think that he set up a lot of premises, and then he just like left it and abandoned them in the movie.
Okay.
I'll give you another example. Vampires. He sets up this premise at the end of the movie that they don't like sunlight. But he introduces the vampire via him running in the middle of nowhere in the sun. Yes, he's getting cooked, but when you pan out and you see the Native Americans come, it look like they're in a house for miles, bro. Where this nigga come from?
I remember discussions about that part because people were upset. Well, why was he flying in one scene and not flying in the other? Because I'm like, well, when they first introduced him, he kind of just drops into frame. So I took it as like he was flying and he just dropped in front of the house and they were on his ass pretty much. He was flying and they were on horseback. That's how I took it.
Okay.
But go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm letting you cook this thing.
Let me see. I do have some. I got a couple notes.
You got notes? I knew you would.
Yeah, I got a couple notes. Okay, this is another petty thing. I don't like how one of the brothers had like this slender, passing white chick, right? Thin, all of that, which I almost didn't recognize her, but then I remember she's the chick from Ender's Game. She's Petra.
Yeah, and I was like, Hawkeye series.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I haven't seen Hawkeye, so that's yeah. But I didn't like how they gave the other dude like this. Like, come on. She's nice and slick and slender, and this girl big boned, go big for no, just a huge, just a big bitch.
A big mammy. Yes, she built like a mammy. Yes, the Tom and Jerry mammy.
And it's like,
yes.
It's like, why is this happening right here? Like, why? You couldn't get like Kerry Washington or some shit. You couldn't.
Well, you know, which is funny because when you say that, because Sammy was cheating on with the wife, and she was pretty slim and tiny and petite.
Correct.
So I was just like, that's not a. You give me two different. You giving me mixed signals there. You know.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Continue.
This is where themes are all over the place, bro. Because I understand that they're trying to. My biggest issue with this movie is that it leans too heavy on symbolism.
Okay.
For it to get through, and not enough on like the actual story. The actual character development, the actual plot.
I feel you.
That's my biggest issue with the movie, and for somebody like me, that's enough for me to give it a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
Because I gotta be able to understand why things are happening that drive the movie forward. This movie was like 2 hours and some change, bro. It did not need to be that long. There's no reason for this movie to be that long with what we saw. Now, that being said, even before this, and I can't give you the exact details, but there are deleted scenes that should have been in the movie that would have made things make more sense.
I've seen a couple of them. Yeah, I agree.
But since they weren't in the movie, it is what it is. If it ain't on YouTube, it didn't happen. That's the logic I'm having. So right. it wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
It was not in the movie. Just the pacing, bro. The pacing of this movie was not. The music messed up the pacing of the movie. Some of the songs were entirely too long in a way that just messed up the pacing of this movie. there were also things that were redundant. There was a lot of I believe in show don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of just telling in this movie, bruh.
Okay.
Like when you say when they try to make it seem like white folks are evil, I don't want to hear that in a Delta Blue car ride. I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
That whole Delta Blue whatever that I get that it showed his particular hang up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was entirely too long of a scene to just it was too long, bro.
Okay.
You're talking about having scenes that drive the plot forward.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's just too long. Like, go give us a flashback or something. Give us a kind of like how they did with the preacher in the beginning when they flashed the when they went between the church and the vampire. You know how they did the little like they were like little quick shots.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of show don't tell, and this movie did a lot of telling when it could have easily shown.
Okay.
It was just like I'm good with slow burns, but it has to drive the plot forward, and it just didn't. Let me see. I saw somebody online say that it felt like a music video, or it felt like Empire at times.
Oh gosh.
And I gotta, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I could have the one musical with the cheating wife. She did her little song. I was like, I didn't know she was a performer. Like, when would she have time to sneak off and leave her husband to perform every week at a juke joint? That kind of threw me for a loop. I'm glad they cut out Delroy Lindo's musical piece, because he had a song in there as well too, in a deleted scene. I'm like, that would have been too much. Like, I didn't care for the musical numbers, honestly, myself. So all I wanted to see was Sammy. Sammy was the star. Okay, let's see what Sammy can do. Everybody else doesn't matter, But I'm with you.
Right. And then it took me a minute to realize that Sammy was okay, when I first saw this, I'm going to tell you what I thought I was going to see. So when I saw the trailer, I thought that I was going to see something happened with the twins where a vampire got one of the twins.
Okay.
And then the vampire leaves, and then the whole central part of the movie is him reconciling that information, like reconciling that relationship. Something like that. That's what I thought, something to that extent. Mm-hmm. I did not anticipate the preacher kid being the main part of the movie. The reason why I point that out is because they didn't give him enough shine for him to be the central person of this movie. Mm-hmm. They didn't even get into the bag of him showing how his, like, again, the main theme of the movie from the beginning. They showed no way of how his musical talents summoned anything. It's just like,
I see what you're saying.
He was kind of a central person in the movie, but he kind of wasn't. But he was supposed to be, but he wasn't. It's something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
No, baby. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, man, it just had a lot of it had a lot of shit in it that just didn't mesh well. Give me 1 second, man. My daughter wants me.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, that's my man Free Zone. We tapping in. We're talking about little sinners. I'm trying to get this text now shit working so I can drop a number for you guys to call if you want to call in and chime in about whatever we're talking about tonight, because we have a lot to cover tonight, and I don't want to cut it short because I want to kind of get in all my topics that I think are prevalent to tonight. But yeah, we'll do what I can. But this text now shit is like working my nerves. Like, it wants me to hold the button and confirm I'm not a bot. Like, I'm not a bot, son. It's me, son. But yeah, great points that he's making. Yeah, it would have been nice to show Sammy when he does sing secular music, the other side kind of perk up their ears, or somebody pay attention, like who, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, one of the symbolisms that I did appreciate, that I actually liked, was Sammy's inability to let go of the guitar. I did like that.
Okay.
Because I understood that the guitar was like a symbol for his ability to be creative, his ability to be free. That's why he was talking about going to Georgia. I understood why he didn't want to let go of the guitar.
Okay.
I wish they would have flushed that out a little bit more. I don't like those kinds of movies where you make a big decision. For example, like when they're in the juke joint, he tells, what's his name? He tells, I forgot which one. It might have been Smoke, that he was going to go to Georgia or go to Chicago and do his thing, right?
Yeah, right.
That seemed like a major decision that he was going to make. And it just doesn't seem like there was anything in the movie. It's like nothing in the movie changed his mind. Even though his dad was right the whole time. Mm-hmm. That's the crazy part. His dad was right. And it's just like, nah, fuck what my dad talking about. I'm gonna go to Chicago. Like, nigga. Like, nigga. It's like little stuff like that, man. Okay, here's another thing. So I didn't like the fact that the vampires and the Klan had no relation to each other outside of they were just white people that won't let black people do their thing. I didn't like that. Like, there should have been some type of connection. Like, they knew each other. Like, maybe Renan turned the Klan. Like, maybe he turned the Klan and now there's this big war or something. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like they were too disconnected. Like, and I get it, like, no matter where you go, black people, I get it. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you're going to do this whole, if you're going to do that angle, you got to do better than that, man. It's just like I get what they're, again, I was talking to a friend about this, you know, pro-black friend of mine, and we're having this discussion, and I'm laying out everything that I said to you now. Mm-hmm. And he says that why should Ryan have to do all of that? This is a movie for us. It's not for everybody else. And I'm like, if you want this to be the biggest movie of the year, it should probably be for everybody. I'm just like, that you shouldn't sacrifice a movie. You shouldn't sacrifice a story and plot and all that stuff just for that reason.
Yeah, I hate that argument. When the movie first came out, I swear black folk were like, oh, he talking to us because all the symbols, it ain't for everybody else. And I'm just like, do you understand? He's in the movie business. Like, y'all don't show up enough in numbers to justify him making a movie just solely for y'all, because y'all don't bring in the money like that. You know, it's
mm-hmm.
It's a weird argument. It's like you want to keep it to yourself in an industry that is built on how big of a reach can you cast with your story. Because if I'm right. watching a movie, I'm like, where do I see myself in this? Which character do I feel close to? Do you know? Oh, I can resonate with that because that's happened to me before, or I know somebody that like I need to feel like connected to one of these characters or a part of the story that I can, you know, I can do a callback or say, I remember my daddy's telling me some shit like that. So yeah, you want a story just you want a pro-black movie. That's pretty much it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, let me ask you this: Did you feel any type of way when any of them passed? Like, did you feel invested?
No.
When they passed away?
No.
That's a huge problem, bro.
No.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah. That's how you know that's how you know you got a good character. When I give a fuck, like, damn, man, like, shit. No, I didn't care about none of it. Right.
Again, they're hailing this as a serious movie that's supposed to be the movie of the year. So yeah, it has to be scrutinized this way. It's not, and there's other movies that do this, that rely heavily on symbolism for no reason. It's not, this ain't the, I can think of, Donnie Darko was kind of like that.
Okay.
Where it just had a lot of symbols, and the symbols didn't, it may be for a different reason, mm-hmm. but the result is still the same. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we're here to watch a fucking movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're not here to watch a music video. We're not here to learn about symbols. We're here to enjoy a movie. let me see what other. Yeah, Tubi Tubi is the source for that.
Well, I wanna get your thoughts on Fatal J's point. He said I didn't feel bad for the characters because everyone was morally bad people.
And okay, another problem. I disagree with that. They didn't frame it that way.
Okay.
They didn't frame. Okay, for example, when Mary and I always get them mixed up. I'm sorry. When Mary and Smoke.
Yeah.
No, when Mary and Smoke have that discussion about why why their relationship went the way it went, and then she tells him to go to hell, and he says, "I will. I'll see you there. Basically, I'll see you when I get there too."
Mm-hmm.
Why does that mean anything? There's nothing that Mary has shown us that would say, "Oh, this bitch going to hell."
Right.
Like up until that point, there's nothing.
Right.
So why is this a evil person?
I'll take it one step further. That was a toxic relationship.
Correct. Correct. And then I heard some people talking about the whole sex aspect to it, like where he was eating box and all that. I don't dude, come on, man. Like I don't care about this nigga eating. Now I will say, can you imagine how horrifying it would be to be eating box as vampires are coming into the spot, nigga?
You know what? That just tells me that unfortunately, that just goes to show how important sex is to black folk. Because did he have to?
Bruh.
Did we need the scene between Sammy and the cheating wife? I just want to taste you. Like, did we need that scene?
It would have been interesting if the actual husband was there and they snuck off.
Okay.
It would have added more.
Right.
It would have added more depth to. Okay, this nigga really is in the mire. Like he, whatever. You know what I mean? There was no emotional payoff at all in this movie. The third act seemed rushed.
Yeah.
You did all this building up, and then the third act is rushed. Here's another thing. It would have been more interesting if Grace and them were actually racist.
Okay.
Because you do all this to make it seem like white folks are racist. And during that time, for the most part, there were some exceptions, but for the most part, the Asians didn't fuck with you niggas either.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So why is there this camaraderie, this happy go? Hey Grace, hey, like what is this? Because then what you could have did is used Grace as when she, instead of her fucking crashing out, just crashing out, the bitch just crashed out. You could be like, give me the vampire's name again. Rennet, right?
Yeah,
Remick strikes a deal with Grace for her husband in some way that works itself, so she gives up everybody inside to get with her husband because she don't really fuck with these niggas anyways. Like you could have did something like that, but it just, her just crashing out like that, just come on. It's like what are we doing here?
Right.
What is this? Avengers Assemble? Like what's going on?
You know what? Now that you say it, I tried to care about Andy when she got bit. I was like, I don't give a fuck. What do you have to sticker like, I don't give a fuck. I mean,
don't care.
I didn't care, bro. I didn't like her energy. I didn't like their interaction when she first came on screen. And just like a lot of people, I thought she was a relative of his. It wasn't until like the dialogue got to flowing, I'm like, oh, they're a couple. Okay. So I didn't like their interaction at all, honestly. At least that first interaction.
Yeah. Here's another plot hole that was missed. At the beginning of the movie, it is stated that one of the one of them murders their father.
That's right. He was abusive. They were getting beat. And Mary's mother helped take care of them.
Correct.
Okay.
I think it would have been a more compelling story if he showed up in vampire form in some way. Maybe because Remick is ancient, he turns. the father, and the father is actually part of the clan, and he or the part of the vampire squad, and he sees his father, and he's brings up all these memories and stuff of what happened. Like, you could have did a lot more with that.
You want to turn this shit into Blackula?
I'm just saying, like, they brought up certain things for no reason whatsoever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It, like, again, show, don't tell.
Yeah.
You're just telling us that he did this.
Okay.
And it's just, and as a matter of fact, if you would have did that, you wouldn't have had no reason to show a scene where he proceeds to shoot one guy in the ass and another guy in the knee. You wouldn't have had to do that.
Okay.
Because realistically, if you would have did that, you think you would have did that shit and nothing happened?
Right.
In the middle of a Mississippi town?
You'd been on the run. You'd have been on the run.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That nigga just did that shit, hopped in the truck like nothing happened.
Hey, we saw what happened when you talk back to white folk in Color Purple. With Homegirl, Oprah's character. We saw what happened. So you get so a 5 out of 10. That's pretty bad, bro.
I care that much about his story, man. Like, this shit was 2 hours long, and you brought up a whole bunch of stuff that had no payoff in the end.
Okay.
You brought up a whole bunch of stuff that, like, again, it did not move the story forward. It was like it was almost like for like Delta Blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as it was, it just seemed like they did expositions to just show how evil white folks were. When you could have just, or tell us that, when you could have showed us how evil they were.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When he's rubbing his hand across the floor, why is this why the floor is clean? You could have did a flash of previous whatever.
I didn't make
it would have made sense.
Well, that's
then it
crazy.
would have made sense in the third.
You're sharper than me, because I didn't make the connection until Remick said, hey, when he bit Homeboy, I was like, you know, that's his nephew, and they was planning to come and kill you later on in the morning. That's when I was like, oh, the guy that's holding the building. I didn't make the connection until Remick said something. So for you to catch it that early when they went to go look at the juke joint, you sharper than me. Yeah.
Yeah, like the movie was dope, man. Again, like Fatal J said, man, the movie was dope. It just left a lot of questions in the air that never got answered, man.
Before I let you go, do you want to see a sequel?
Based on the way that they did it, no. Now I wouldn't mind seeing a prequel.
Okay.
To that movie.
Okay.
Like if they went back in time and actually did a prequel that actually bolsters up the first one, that makes the first a lot of the aspects of the first movie make sense.
Okay.
But a sequel, nah, I think that he should go to something else. Now I will give a shout out to Ryan Coogler, because this was a ambitious movie. It's not easy to make a movie with this many genres inside of it. I think that was pretty original.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely see the ambition that he was going for in the movie. You know, like people say, it's an ambitious movie when you try something new, like Tenet, for example. You're trying something new, and I like that about Ryan. Like, I think with more movies that he makes, he'll sharpen and fine tune the actual story aspect of it.
Okay.
So I don't count him out. I just. When people said that this was the movie of the year, I even heard some people saying that this is the best vampire movie they've ever seen. Yeah, and I'm like, nigga.
No. I think a lot of people were just prisoner of the moment. They just saw what they thought was a pretty decent movie. And people have short memories, man. And then on top of that, a lot of black folk don't watch movies like that. So I don't take a lot of their comments serious, honestly. I just don't.
But a lot of white folks spoke well of this movie too. So
yeah,
like, and I understand why it is a good movie, but I also understand why people say that this movie was overhyped, because there's just a lot of stuff that's missing. That it's like less is more. This is a less is more movie. You could have did a lot more with less.
Okay, do you think this movie goes down as a classic in 10, 15, 20 years?
No.
Okay.
No. But I do think that Yes and no. I think the cinematography of the movie is enough to make it a lasting movie.
Okay.
However, I think that his next movie or his next movie after that will be the movie that goes down in history.
He is currently working on the X-Files reboot.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that.
That could be interesting. I think that I think that he would do much better in a genre that forces him to focus on one thing. I don't think it, like, even though it was ambitious, throwing a whole bunch of genres together to where you're watching this movie. It's at the beginning it seems like I don't want to say a black documentary, but it seems like a what's the word? We'll say that for lack of better words, and then all of a sudden it turns into a vampire movie, and then all of a sudden it turns into it just nah, bro, nah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, please don't use Michael B. Jordan for X-Files. Yeah, but yeah, man, 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10.